If you've been struggling to learn how to code and you understand that AI is your key, it's your gateway, it's your path, and you want help along this journey, then this is your video. So, my name is Nick. I've been doing software instruction for a number of years. I've taught hundreds of people how to code. And never before has AI been able to advance and move us as quickly as it is now. So, I'm going to show you how to use Windsurf, but you can do this in Cursor, you can do this in VS Code. Doesn't matter what application you're using, you just need to have access to a competent AI model. Any of the more recent ones will do just fine. There's 3 steps. This video is going to teach you step by step each of the 3 principles of how to learn how to code fast. Now, I like to teach entrepreneurs, but I've also taught people working at big companies. It doesn't matter what your goal is. The first step is to understand the basic principles of test-driven design. What does that mean? It means that you're going to have the AI write the tests to test your code before you write a single line of code. So I'm going to give you an example here. Let's say I want to learn JavaScript. Can you teach me some of the basics and start by creating a file for me, showing me how to run it, and writing tests that can be run against it? Cool. So what am I doing here? First, I'm in a blank project. You can see I created this intentionally to learn coding, and it's going to ask me along the way to run commands. I haven't given it YOLO mode. I haven't given it the permissions in order to do a bunch of things on my computer. So I'm just going to trust that it's going to do it for me. Already it's creating a new folder. I don't love that, but that's okay. We're going to roll with it. Perfect. So you can see the files that it's adding. Awesome. And the point of doing this way is that having the actual tests in place do 2 things. Number one, it gives you a way to see if your code is actually working. But number two, if you get stuck, it will show you the things to do in order to get your tests to run correctly. What I mean by that is you can actually look at the code in the tests and you'll see good JavaScript that's written. So awesome. I'm not going to tell you what the commands are all doing right now on purpose, just because I'm using JavaScript here as an example. And I could be doing this in Python. I could be doing this in Ruby or Go. It doesn't matter. I really think people should learn JavaScript first because all front end code, all consumer client facing code is written in JavaScript. So you need to understand some JavaScript, but that's okay. So it's now starting to tell me to run, how to run the code. You can run the JavaScript file with Node.js. Awesome. This should work. No, it's doing it up here. Okay. So this is one of the first things I wanted to show you. And I'm glad this happened this quickly. When I'm hitting insert here, it's putting the code into the file. And that's very confusing. So I'm going to back up a step and explain what I have going on here. So on my side panel, I have the AI. And I'm going to be talking to it. I'm going to be asking it questions. I'm going to be letting it run commands for me. Here, I'm going to have my actual code being written. Down here, I have what's called the terminal. And the terminal is my way of interacting with the core of my computer. It doesn't matter whether you're on Windows, Mac OS, you're going to have some form of terminal that allows you to interact directly with your system. And these are terminal commands. And when you're first learning to code, you're not going to understand that. There's no reason for you to know the difference between these. So you're often going to be getting things here. And the key is you want to look for something that says bash or WSL, which is Windows System Linux, or it could say PowerShell. Whatever it's going to say, if it says something along those lines, it means that it's supposed to go down here into your terminal. And you can always open up the terminal. There's going to be a menu in any editor that's going to be related to the terminal. Cursor has this, VS Code has this as well. Tray has this if you want a free option. And you're just going to go to new terminal, and that's just going to put a terminal down here. Okay, so now let's see. No, it's still doing that. I'm going to cut it. We're going to paste it down here. Cool. All right. It's not going to show any output yet since we don't have anything going on, right? Um, cool. So I'm going to show you intentionally what I like and what I don't like. This is the second thing that I wanted to cover. I'm glad that Claude, I'm using Claude here, is playing along. So this is an example of what I would consider passive learning. So if I've written my tests and I've written good tests and the AI has written those for me, I don't want the AI to be giving me the code to look through, to read it, to try and understand it that way. I'll tell you why. I'm an experienced JavaScript developer. So when I see let name equals something, I know what this means. But if you're learning to code for the first time, looking at all these different lines is pointless. It's not the kind of thing that actually gives you true understanding. You need it to be explaining things to you. So my initial prompt here, where I first started asking this, is actually not very good. I'm going to build on that. I'm going to show you a little bit of a better prompt now. So instead of just giving me the code, and I'm going to actually say this, I want you to create an empty file with hints written in comments. I never want the answers to anything you ask me to do. So this is important to re-emphasize. All of the coding platforms, all of the IDEs are biased. They try to give you answers because most people just want answers. But if you're looking at these, you're not going to understand anything from looking at this. This doesn't tell you why to write the word function. It doesn't tell you what greet is doing. It doesn't tell you what any of this is. So this isn't actually helpful. And I've seen people get stuck a lot and frustrated because you end up in this loop, right? So again, the first thing that we look at is in the process of redoing the video here. The first thing that we look at is taking the idea that's in your head of what you want to learn and getting tests. The second thing is that you have to be very specific with your prompt and ask it not to help you. Okay, so I'm going to keep going. I never want the answers to anything it asks me to do. I want you to explain it to me, go step by step, only giving hints, make me ask questions to, 1 second, make me answer questions about the code to make sure I understand it. Go through. Um, I wanted to create a list of topics for us to learn. We're going to start with JavaScript basics. Um, there's one last little piece here, and I'm going to dive in and actually show you this one in action a little bit. But you want to be doing two different things. You want to be focusing on writing code, and you want to be focusing on answering questions about the code you've written to see if you actually understand why you're doing the thing. So simply following along, and this is part of the problem with learning via YouTube. If you're just following along, A, you're more likely to just passively watch the video. Let's be honest, I do that sometimes. All of us do that sometimes. But secondly, if you're actively engaged with the video and you're writing things down, you might not even understand what you're writing or what the purpose is. So I want you to ask the model to ask you questions. And that way you can see if you're actually understanding things and if you're picking them up as we go. So we're going to start here and I'm going to have it kind of undo things a little bit. Cool. I also have a thinking model. I don't know if that helps that much at this stage. In my experience, Gemini Flash tends to be the fastest model in doing all of this, but Claude, for more complicated things, tends to do a really good job. And I usually use those two models. For learning code, I'm not particularly fond of uh, ChatGPT 4o because I feel like it tries to do too much. It's verbose. It tries to explain things a little too much, like I'm doing right now. Ironic. Okay, I've already created a learning plan. Cool. The first lesson, fundamentals with exercise. Now I should guide through the first topic. Cool. This is why I like the thought process. Okay, so we now have this file. Anytime you're seeing the slashes, you're going to know these are comments, and this is code that's not going to run. Okay. Um, and what's cool is that you're going to have solutions. So you can actually see the answers to things and the tests for things. So JavaScript has three ways to declare variables: var, let, and const. Create a variable named my name. Cool. Uh, Make sure that your autocomplete is turned off. See how it just tries to answer this for me already? If you're doing this, you're not going to actually learn. So the last thing that I wanted to go over with you is that it's very tempting to complete things automatically because all modern editors do this for you. But that is lazy. And frankly, it's not going to actually teach you because as soon as you see the answer, you're going to say, oh, yeah, of course I knew that. We all have the tendency to do that. But when you're actually stuck and you don't know the answer to something, that's when you can ask the model. That's when you can query Claude or ChatGPT and say, hey, why am I stuck on this? What am I doing wrong? And often when you're learning a new language, the thing that you're struggling with can be something simple. Like this one right here, maybe I don't understand that it has to be equals quotes like that, right? Maybe I just try to write Nick. Um, and this looks good to me. I don't have any reason to understand why this is wrong. But as soon as I run the tests, let's say I ask it to run the tests here, it's going to break. And this is the kind of thing I would pass back in and I would say, perfect, perfect. So this is the best way to learn. Anytime you do something wrong, ask questions. I know it can be painful, but in all of the tests they've done, humans learn more by getting something wrong. The thing that we fail at is actually the thing that our brain focuses on the most and it internalizes it to a deeper level. So we actually the things that we learn wrong will stick with us for a longer period of time than the things that we get right the first time. It seems wild. It seems like that should be backwards, but in every test they've done, that's the case. So, okay. Now let's say I fix this. I let my tab work, but I shouldn't have. And again, see how it's already trying to fill out all the answers for me? You can go into your settings and turn this off. It's going to be different in every IDE, but you want to turn off autocomplete. That's what it's called, autocomplete. So, um, can you ask me, I'll show you this way. Can you make a short quiz about variables? Uh, let's say three questions. It's generally good to do 3 to 5 questions. You want to do this in chunks. Awesome. Question number one, what's the difference between let and const? Question two, which of the following variable declarations result in an error? Ooh, interesting, interesting. Question three, what will be logged to the console in this code snippet? So I love this, right? This way, it's actually forcing me to show that I understand this. Every time you go through a new topic, have a quiz. That's it for today. I wanted to go over this at a high level. If you would like some prompts, please let me know in the comments below, and I'll give you the series of prompts that I would actually use. They're a little bit longer, and I didn't want to force you to read too much during this video. Secondly, if you're curious at learning which language to learn or what to learn or why to learn something, again, ask in the comments. I'm happy to guide you through this journey. I promise you can do this. This is the kind of thing that if you commit 5 to 10 hours, you're going to be amazed at how much you're able to understand. And you're going to be on the path to building everything you want to build. Good luck.